Welcome to this video where we explore the fascinating life of Mary Taylor, Charlotte Bronte's radical friend and a true feminist pioneer. Today I'll be diving into the story of this remarkable woman who not only influenced Charlotte Bronte's writing, but also championed women's independence and education long before it was widely accepted. From her Yorkshire roots to her bold move to New Zealand, Mary Taylor was a trailblazer, pushing against the norm of her time. Join me as we uncover her extraordinary journey and lasting impact on Charlotte Bronte and the fight for women's rights. Hello! So today I'm sat in St Mary's graveyard in Gomersal. I'm visiting the grave of an extraordinary woman, Mary Taylor. Mary was one of Charlotte Bronte's closest friends and an influential figure in her own right. She was a strong, independent woman ahead of her time, and she was advocating for women's education and for independence. Mary Taylor was born in 1817, just a few miles from here in Gomersal. Her family were part of the upper middle class, and her father, Joseph, was a wealthy mill owner. Her family valued education and progressive thinking, and this background gave Mary opportunities that many women in her time did not have. But rather than simply live a comfortable life, she chose to challenge the social norm. Go Mary! Mary and Charlotte Bronte first met at Roe Head School in 1831, where they quickly bonded over shared interests and ideas. While Charlotte was more sort of reserved, Mary was outspoken and radical for her time, advocating for social reform and women's independence. It's amazing to sit here knowing how much of an influence Mary had on Charlotte's life and her work. Their friendship spanned decades through letters and shared experiences. Some of their most insightful conversations were preserved in letters, where Mary encouraged Charlotte to be more daring in her writing and even in her personal life. In one letter from December 1848, after the success of Jane Eyre, Mary encouraged Charlotte to take more pride in her work and embrace financial independence. She wrote, "Why are you not in better spirits? I was very happy when I read Jane Eyre and heard it well spoken of. I felt I should have been so proud in your place, so glad to show them all what genius can do. You are quite right to value money when you earn it so hardly. Why don't you care more about fame?" I mean, this letter captured Mary's forward-thinking nature. She pushed Charlotte not just to settle, but to be proud of her success, while also recognising the importance of financial independence. So I'm being followed by this little grey kitten. Where have you gone? There you are. Been following me around the graveyard. It's got a little bell as well, so you can hear her coming. She's very cute. She keeps playing with all the brambles and... Oops, hole. She keeps playing with all the brambles and everything. Mary Taylor was not one to be limited by the social norm, as you could say, and she was often urging Charlotte to break free from them. In 1850, after moving to New Zealand, Mary wrote another letter challenging Charlotte's more reserved lifestyle. She said, "Why are you still in that obscure village? Do you mean to stay there all your life? Are there no more ideas to be gathered in the world? You must not be content, Charlotte. You must learn, travel, see the world beyond the limits of your family and your writing desk." This adventurous and bold spirit defined Mary. She lived by her belief that women could and should lead independent lives, even going as far as moving to the other side of the world to seek her own opportunities. And even Charlotte recognised Mary's incredible strength. In one of her letters to Mary from July 1851, Charlotte wrote, "I always consider you something of a pioneer, Mary, a woman who could take her own way, who was brave enough to live by her own strong spirit. Your letters always leave me more determined and somehow stronger." By Mary Taylor's grave is a small plaque that also remembers her sister, Martha Taylor. Although Martha was buried in Brussels, where she tragically passed away in 1842, her memory is honoured here alongside her sister, Mary. Martha's death had a profound impact on both Mary and Charlotte Brontë, who drew from this loss when writing Villette. The character Rachel reflects some of the sorrow Charlotte felt over Martha's untimely death. Though Martha rests far from Gomersal, her memory lives on here with the sister. Charlotte admired Mary's resolve and independence, qualities that undoubtedly shaped her own perspective on life and her literary work. These letters give us a real insight into the depths of their friendship and the impact Mary Taylor had on Charlotte's life. Mary's progressive ideas on women's rights and independence were not just ahead of her time, but also directly encouraging Charlotte to pursue her own path. Mary's own life was extraordinary. After a time in Gomersal, she moved to New Zealand in 1845. I mean, it was quite an adventure for a single woman in those days. She continued to advocate for women's rights and set up a successful business. Mary eventually returned to England after several years. In in 1859, but never lost her independent streak. She remained unmarried by choice, believing that women should have control over their own lives and their own destinies. This was incredibly progressive thinking at that time. In this photo, you can see Mary Taylor on the left. At 57 years old, she led the first all-woman team to successfully climb Mont Blanc in Switzerland in 1874, a remarkable feat that highlights her pioneering spirit and her fearless determination. Mary Taylor passed away in 1893 and she'd laid to rest here not far from where she grew up. Her gravestone is simple, much like the woman herself, but strong, purposeful and modest. And her literary works, her literary, financial independence. She wrote something in my eye. So happy when I heard Jane Eyre. No, she didn't hear it, she read it. So thank you for watching and for coming to visit Mary with me. It's a bit of a windy day now, it's getting a bit cold, so I'm going to head off and go and find a nice cup of tea somewhere. But I'll leave some information in the description below about where the church is, so you can come and find it and see her yourself. I think the rain's coming, I'm going to get wet. But anyway, if you like this video or any of my videos, please do the subscribe and the likey thing, because it really does help me out. Lets YouTube know that we want to watch more Bronte content. And any comments, love to hear your thoughts, especially on this place. What do you think of the church and what do you think of Mary's grave? Do you think it should have been a little bit more elaborate? Why is there that space at the bottom? Let me know what you think. But until next Friday, have a good weekend, take care, and yeah, next Friday for more Bronte adventures. See you there. Alrighty.